In this episode we talk to Mrs. Joan Forward, born in Crowborough, going to Jarvis Brook School, the war, evacuation, the shops at Western Road, and some relations that she had that lived along there. There's quite a few other little snippets of information which I think you will find quite fascinating and interesting to hear. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, but most of all, enjoy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have seen
Bill Parker worked for Collar Brothers,
it. Let's have a look.
and we got Uncle Bill with the star above with the cap on, but I didn't know whether you wanted to print that and ask
May have done it.
if anybody knows any information about it. My dad used to work on collars and whatnot, and used to be travelling and what where they built.
His house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it called Hardington
I
House?
think it was Hartington.
And it's along there, yeah. And you go along there, and then there's a row of cottages. And there was my friend Jean. Her granny lived in one of those cottages,
Oh right.
and I used to go up there to see her with Jean in one of those cottages. And am I right in thinking that Mary Wilson used to live in one of them as well?
I believe you're right, yeah.
Yeah, she did, because I remember, I think she lived more or less on she lived, I think, on the last one before there was a scrapyard there, and Jean's granny was in the sort of, not next door, but next door. And yeah, she was a big old woman, used to sit in there in her chair, you know, and I used to go up there with Jean quite a lot. You have to go up Walderbrook quite a lot, really, because Mum and Dad used to take us for the walks up there. We didn't take no notice of the gypsies. I mean, I found them quite interesting, really. And taking that in the old carriages and that. They weren't frightening or anything. I mean, they're perfectly all right. Just go along, getting on with their business, and we used to go along there. Yeah, I used to go up there with Jean to see her granny. So everyone went to see Mum, didn't they? I don't know why, but lately sometimes some things come into your head, and I've been thinking about Mum. I call her Mum, Rod's mum, quite a bit, and I always think about it. That people used to go and like Mum because she was so friendly, never turned anyone away. Everyone was welcome. I mean, you take her as you find her, don't you? And that's it. And that's Mum all over. And people used to think that she was my mum. I mean, that is something, isn't it? I mean, how many relations you would think? I mean, that was your mum and not your mother-in-law. I mean, and some woman said to me at the time to me, but she said to me, something about, you and your mum get on quite, your mum likes nice to see if, getting on with her. I said, no, that's not my mother. This is when we was in Jersey, I think. And I said, no, it's not my mother. I said, it's my mother-in-law. No, she said, it's very unusual for mother and daughter-in-laws to get on like that, she goes. I thought that was quite nice, really. I did think that was quite nice, yeah. Yeah.
So you used to walk, let's get this straight, you used to walk or bike from Jarvis Brook, Walters Road, opposite the Plough Horses, to Firmer School.
Yeah.
There and back, every school day. Come rain or shine.
Yeah, until we get there. Mum and Dad didn't drive. I can't remember later on I used to bike up to school. I don't know where Jean used to get to school.
Where did Jean live?
Jean Criddle, a lot of 5 Fine Cottages, Western Road. But I remember coming home where I used to stand on the pedals and then she'd sit on the saddle with the legs there and we'd go down Crowborough like that. And then sometimes I used to cut off down Toll Hill and go down Toll Road, come there, and was so annoyed because there was my uncle Joe over by the letter box on the grass asleep, bloody drunk. Granddad built where Sheila lived, didn't she? Next door to Auntie Bab. It's the first time I saw a dead person.
What, Auntie Bab?
No. Next door to Auntie Bab, on the right-hand side, lived Uncle Bill's parents. And one day, Auntie Bub made me go round next door where the woman had passed away, and she was laying out on they have them in a coffin on the table, and she made me go in and see her. It's the first time I saw anyone dead. But I know she made me go round there, but I can't visualise it. But I know she made me do it. But then when I went to up Dad's, and then we were moving Granny Payne up there, it wasn't long before she passed away. And of course they laid her out on the table in the back room there, like. And I went in. They said to me about going in to see her. Dad wouldn't go. Oh, but I've noticed she's so beautiful. And her hair was, she used to have it in a knot, and her hair was all long down here and thin. And of course, you lose all your wrinkles and things. And really, really beautiful. Granny painted. It was very nice. I do remember that.
You know the top of the cinder track?
Yep.
What were the shops there? Do you remember?
Yeah, on the opposite side, yeah. You went up about 2 steps. May Martin, was it May Martin, her name, used to have a sweet shop. I think it was May Martin. I think her name was May Martin. She wasn't married, I don't think she was married. And she used to have this go up the stairs, sweet shop, and then she'd got like a paper, I can't remember whether it was brown paper or something, and then they used to do an ice cream cone, and then you put your sweets in there. So I used to walk up the cinder path. Why did we walk up? Well, I remember walking up. I was always up and down the cinder path. I don't know why, but I used to go up there and buy. I was always going up there getting sweets from her. I think she liked children. She was quite nice, quite sort of a round, plumpish woman, quite nice. And you just got a couple of steps, and then there was a shop. I don't know what else she sold, but all I remember is the sweets and her having them in the ice cream corner, which was quite nice. That was the only shop up there. No other shop up there.
I expect it used to service.
There was a pub, and then there was that.
I expect it used to service people walking down to the cinder track to work.
Yeah.
The men with their cigarettes and stuff, coming down Black Nest. That would make sense.
One
wouldn't
to
it?
go, one people catching the train, and one to go to the brickyard to work.
That would make sense.
With the brickyard. And during the war, that's where they used to make a lot of the bread, because that's where one of the people that would live with mum during the war. We had these people live with us, evacuees, and one of them used to be he used to do the bakery out there. He used to bake the bread. Because we always used to think how funny it was that we were sent away to evacuees, and then Mum and Dad had evacuees. Paige, their name was. There was Patsy, the youngest, Peggy and John, and then Mr. and Mrs. And we got pictures of them in there. I wonder if they're still alive.
You said to me the other day about where Wavy Line used to be. Shops just over the bridge.
Huh?
Shop just over the bridge.
Oh,
where
yeah,
I used to work, Blackton's.
Yeah, Clacton's.
Blackton's.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. What was it before it was Wavy Line?
Sherlock's.
I don't know.
I think his name was Sherlock, the man and the man. I can't remember what it was before. Oh,
There was 2 shops there, wasn't there? But
Yeah, one was on the corner like that, a little tiny Rankins. Mrs. Rankin used to have that,
and that was
and her
a
husband's, and they used to. She used to do little cups of tea and cakes and little buns and sandwiches, because a lot of the people who worked around for Hall and Co's used to go in there and get a cup of tea, and I used to go down there. I used to go down there quite a lot with her and talk to her and everything. I was friendly with her because, of course, you see, I used to go with friendly with Ron Knight in his lorry with him, the coal. So I used to go down there to Ron, and Ron, sometimes you see the men, Coleman and that, sitting out there having a cup of tea with Mrs. Rankin. But even without that, I used to go down there and sit and talk to Mrs. Rankin. It's a very thin, skinny woman she was, but was right on the corner there before you got to the proper shop. Yeah, and then I used to go with Ron and sit in his van and go off, while he coal on his back, they do, don't they?
Was that the coal yard that was by
The Hall and Co's, you see, yeah, it was there. But Rankin, she was right on Hall and Co's entrance. So all the people for Hall and Co's and other lorries, and because there used to be when you went into Hall and Co's like that, and then over this side there was like railway big buildings where they used to store postage and parcels, all used to be done like that, and but yeah, sometimes what we used to do as well is used to go in the goods yard and then clamber down on the right hand side, down the bank, because there was a river that walked right the way along up to Jarvis Brook here, but to the railway station. And I used to walk along, go in the water, walk there along, and then you see a bank, and you look up at the bank, and there's some apple trees with all the apples hanging out there. And so, of course, we scrambled out there and scrumped the apples, and used to walk right along to the end. Oh, so yeah, it's a play, you see. You could play like that these them days, but I mean...
Can't now.
Eh?
You certainly can't now.
No.
Was it Alan's first school?
Alan's first school was cowsheds, wasn't it?
I assume so.
White Hill Cowsheds, when we lived along Southfield then, and you used to walk when I took him to school. And then I turned around, there he is following me up the road. He was, honestly. He kicked up, and he didn't like going to school. He kicked up, and then I thought, they said to him, I was right, they've got him in here. And then I'm going up the road, and then I turned around, and there he is following me, and I had to take him back again, and we really had to force him to get to school. He didn't want to go to school. Well, I don't know whether, because I think, when did I start my school? Well, of course, I started my school days in Jarvis Brook, and I always remember the old sirens going, and then we all had to stand up in a line and walk up the sides into the air raid shelter and go right along. There's no pushing, no pushing, no running. Just sit down until then the siren would go for the all clear. Then you used to go back in.
Air raid shelter?
No, it was an air raid shelter at the back of the Jarvis Brook School. There was a building. We went down the steps, up outside, round up into the steps to a special air raid shelter. We had to walk into. Then there's a big long panel put against the wall. We all had to go along and sit down there until the all clear went. And then we used to go back down and then go into the classroom. I didn't mind that school really when I was there, because what I used to like was when they done the maypole dancing. Okay. Oh, they loved that. the pole, and then you had these ribbons, and then you danced around, you twisted them in between one another, and I loved that.
It was actually in the grounds.
In the playground, yeah. I did like that. I really enjoyed that. And of course, then when the war came, we had to go. Because Dad was in the army, and because Mum was working in the ammunition factory up in Crowborough Hill, and then we had to evacuate. I mean, ridiculous, really, wasn't it? We used to evacuate, and then they brought people from into London, and so we was evacuees, and Mum had evacuees come and live with her and Auntie Bub. So what sense was there in that?
Sense, really.
I still remember the coat, double-breasted coat, and the shoulder bag, and your name on your tag. And looking after Morris, and then crying, and then not letting us, keep together. I remember it as if it was yesterday.
You left from what, Crowborough Station?
Yeah, we had to go out. We went out to Jarvis Brook Station, and then I don't know what we had, this satchel thing around and your name on you. I don't know what we had that for. And then we left. Then we went for so long, and then we stopped, and we had to go to the toilet, and you get out, and they brought you drinks and something to eat. And then when we got further on, then we all had to get into a coach and be driven into this little bit something like the Memorial Hall, a big local thing. And then they sorted, and then there was a lot of grown-ups there, and then they sorted you out who you'd got to go with. And they took you off, and then it come down to me and Morris. And of course, you see, there's not many people that wanted two children. But anyway, I can't remember their names. I've got a name and address anyway somewhere. I know she's dead, and he's doing a hairdresser's. Well, that was years ago. I expect he's dead now as well. I expect. But they did have a girl called Patsy. I think her name was Patsy. Yeah.
Sorry, going back to where we were. So how long were you in Wales?
Well, we were supposed to be there. Cool, do you know what? I got a feeling we were supposed to be there for 3 years. But Mum and Dad come and got us before, and they was not happy.
Do you remember what part of Wales it was?
Bridgend.
Bridgend.
Got the address, and we went there, the top of the road, and I said, yeah, this is the road. This is where I used to play. Go down there. I said, go down there. No, further. On right-hand side, and we'd got the number, and I went and knocked on the door. And the lady, I said, I'm awfully sorry to trouble you, and I explained. And they said, oh, no. I think he said that she passed away, as far as these people knew in the house, and he had opened a hairdresser's or something. I don't know what happened to the girl, because there was a girl there, because they wanted an evacuee to keep the daughter company. But of course, you see, it ended up with the two of us. And then I said to Dad, we go up the road, and then we go round here. I said, right, stop here. And I said, just opposite in the road there, we go through here. We walked through there, and I said, and this is where I used to come and play in the playground. And look at that! There's the sand pit, because there was a big, massive sand pit there in there, and it was still there. So when I went there, I knew where it was, the house, and I knew where the playground was. So, and I can't remember whether I knew which, because I used to go to school there.
You would if there for a period of time.
I thought I was there for nearly 3 years, but I'm not too. I think I was supposed to be there 3 years. Mum and Dad, or Dad come out of the army, they come and got us, and this is what happened, and that's where there was a big fallout between Mum and Dad and the two people we were living with, because they just turned up. I think Mum and Dad did, wanted to take us away, and of course the lady was upset because you see. Because they was taking me away, because I was supposed to be the friend of their daughters and played with them. Which, I mean, in those days, you played in the road. just like I did down at Walsh's. There was no traffic, so that was the first time when I tried to ride a bike. It was funny in all your life. And it was a three-wheeler, you know, the two of them. And I couldn't even balance myself on this blooming bike for ages. I kept trying, but I wasn't no good at it because, you know, I'd start laughing and fall off and whatnot and everything. Because you used to play on the road. You didn't have cars. And then I started school there. And then what happened? Went somewhere, come back, went to school, and of course I'd lost all the schooling at the bigger school, and all of because they talk in Welsh, you see, and I didn't know a bit of Welsh, so I wouldn't know it now because I used to speak it and then of course I said there's something about these exams we was doing. I said, well, I can speak in Welsh, and
What school's this at though? This is when you've come back.
yeah, up at Firma.
Of course, you went from
The old Firma school.
So you went from Jarvis Brook,
Until I went,
then to Wales, bit of
then I went to
education in
Wales, and then I went to school in Wales,
Yes.
and then I come home, and then I had to go up to Firma school.
But you lost a few years of, yeah.
I did. Oh yeah. I lost. Oh yeah, because I was right way behind.
You didn't like school anyway, did you?
Absolutely hated it. Couldn't bear it. Well, I was all behind, and what you know, when you go to school and other people, you can't catch up, and that don't help with you liking it, does it? To begin with, do you know what I mean? And but no, I'm not a school person. That's my dad used to be so annoyed because he said that if I wasn't with my friend Jean Crittle, I would be a lot better off because I would be what do you call it when you like school?
Academic.
Yeah, and Dad didn't like it because he said would spend too much time with Jean Crittle.